Hello, everyone. I wanted to open with this one because I found it amusing. So, there is another round of trilateral US, Ukraine, Russia talks coming up in Geneva. However, Marco Rubio says US is unsure if Russia is serious about ending the war in Ukraine. Really? No. No. What tipped you off? Hmm? What was it? Hmm? Tell me. Tell me, Mr. Rubio. What, inspired these ponderings? Was it the constant lying on the part of the Russian government? Was it the ongoing slaughter of Ukrainian civilians? What was it that got you thinking in that direction? Because I really would like to know how you got around to this after all this time. Let me know. Meanwhile, yeah, Merz got it right. German Chancellor Merz says basically Russia's not going to stop until it can no longer move. He got it. He has it. When talking at the Munich Security Council, Friedrich Merz basically said the war will only end when Russia is at least economically, potentially militarily exhausted. He has the right idea. And now that we understand that, that should be the goal, exhausting Russia, both ways, militarily and economically. Militarily more so than economically, because we have already seen Russia's resilience in the face of some of the harshest sanctions. And the fact that Russia is still trading under the table, including with some of the countries who claim to have sanctions against it, including the United States. That is not helping toward that goal of economic exhaustion. So, maybe just saying, put more emphasis on military exhaustion. And I also agree with Macron when he said that any peace agreement must involve Europe. Because again, look at the map. There's Ukraine. There's Russia's staunch supporter, Belarus. And there is Europe. So, yeah, he's right. These conversations have to involve Europe because it is really close to home. Now, Rubio was not in Munich. He said he was engaging in preparation for Russia-Ukraine meeting in Geneva. But again, my question is, what's the point? What is on the agenda? What are they hoping to achieve? Considering so far, no concessions have been made by Russia and no signs of any sort of goodwill or consideration have been forthcoming. And once again, U.S. delegation will include Witkoff and Kushner, who have yet to go to Ukraine, who have been to Russia multiple times. And again, this drives me nuts. They go to Russia. They post pictures of what they have eaten there. What are they, like, trying to be Instagram influencers? What? But they have yet to go to Ukraine. That is bullshit. Because, I'm sorry, there is no way they will get any sort of adequate understanding about this war until they go and see it for themselves. Zelensky spoke up about something. So, this has been another point that Russia has been harping on, saying Zelensky is not a legitimate leader because he had overstayed the standard election term. Of course, we talked about this. Holding an election during war is freaking insane. You can't guarantee the safety of anybody. So Zelensky said, okay, all right, we can hold an election if you want to, but in order to do so, there has to be a 2 to 3 month ceasefire. Russia is not going to agree to this. I'm almost 100% certain, like 99.99% certain, that Russia is not going to go for it. And Zelensky also called out Trump, said, yeah, I get it. You wanted to have the peace deal all at once. Not going to happen. Be realistic. So that is an interesting development. Is the U.S. going to grab onto that and start pressuring Russia into that? We'll see. But like I said, it would take some serious leverage to force Russia to agree to a 2 to 3 month ceasefire, even if it's to satisfy their own request or demand, whatever you want to call it, considering they could not even maintain a ceasefire for a week and broke it within 2 days. And yeah, I agree with Zelensky also that, let's not beat around the bush here. Russia's purpose is to get Ukraine bit by bit. And US can't seem to get that point. They just don't seem to understand what this is all about. And this is a really good line, actually. And like I said, I've never made a secret of my personal disapproval of a lot of things that Zelensky says and does to this day and have done in the past. But this I agree with 100%. He said, we made a lot of compromises. Putin and his friends, they are not in prison. This is the biggest compromise that the world made already. Yeah, because Putin and his friends are war criminals. And they're walking free. And they want to continue getting away with what they have done in Ukraine. That is the material point. So, we'll see what happens. I like him testing the waters with the election suggestion. Again, especially since Russia has been pounding on that particular door for months. So, this is definitely a big developing story. More to come.